Hey, it's Hot Rod here again at TFIO. Coming to you with a review of the Galaxy Force version of Scourge. I think it's Flaming Convoy or Fire Convoy in Galaxy Force, but in the West it's known as Scourge. Um, when I first saw pictures of the Galaxy Force toys, I thought they were quite unique, to say the least. I wasn't terribly won over by Prime because I was still very G1 at the time, so I kind of thought, Prime shouldn't have that many guns. But then I seen this guy, and it kind of went from there. It afforded me the ability to just kind of look at the other ones and go, hey, those are kind of cool. But the second I saw this guy, I knew I wanted him. I think it's largely the color scheme. The color scheme reminds me of the Carbonite Chamber in Empire Strikes Back, which I love. I absolutely love the color scheme of that. It's probably my favorite setup in Star Wars. It's really busy, but it looks so cool. It really suits the actual mold as well. I don't know if there's anything that relates to Japanese heritage or anything like that. With I mean, he's a dragon. But it's the kind of colors used they're so they make me think Oriental. I don't know why. It is very busy. He's got a lot of orange. It all seems to kind of share equal space. There's orange, a kind of a dark grey that's almost black. There's this gold on the fan and on the wings, kind of a light orange here, that leads into an almost pinkish red on the spikes here. On the top of his head is a light translucent purple plastic, and then obviously on the back as well, where his tail is, it's the same kind of grey with the same gold and purple. This purple, there's a kind of a metallic purple here. It seems to airbrush into the gold. It's pretty cool. It's a great color scheme. I really like it. The mold itself of the dragon, it looks great, but it's you can't do much with it. The head isn't on a pivot; it can kind of go up and down. Likewise, the neck, the feet can go in and out and stuff like that. They're on a hinge. These ones at the back seem to be on a kind of a clicking ball joint, but they kind of have a mind of their own. They do their own thing, which is why I'm not really messing with them too much right now. The tail is attached here. This whole lot from here to the tip clips out and becomes his melee weapon. This is on a hinge, and it's also can go up and down. If it would have been great if it had been segmented a bit more, kind of like I think Nemesis Prime's cannon is a bit more segmented because it's like a spine. But Nemesis Prime from the original universe line, he was big convoy in Japan. It does look great. It's it's big and it's imposing. It's because it's a Cybertron toy. It's got a key feature. On his back here, there's a column that you can slot the key into, and it gives off the transformation noise, which, again, Jay always says every Transformers toy should have that. I agree. Why they weren't doing it with G1's beyond me. It reveals this kind of, the key being brought in reveals these two extra dragon heads. They're kind of crap. They don't look great. They don't really, even the detailing on them doesn't really match up to the detailing on the rest. The colours could have been a little less kind of bland. These pop out. When you look at the rest, they don't really sit right. You can't do much with them when they're out in this mode either. They just sort of sit there. I'll clip them back in now. As I said, those back legs have a mind of their own. They don't really support it too well, and that was a perfect example of that. But they helped, I guess, in this respect, because I was just going to transform them. That's the tail part. As I said, it clips out, becomes his melee weapon. You can pretty much tell what that's going to be. The detailing on him is fantastic. It's second to none for the toy line. But I mean, it was a heavily detailed toy line anyway. He looks fantastic with the kind of lines going up his neck and things like that. These are almost vented, like airplane vents or something. And there's a lot of this kind of going on around his rib cage and things like that. It's very almost H.R. Geiger looking. It's just really cool. So I'll get on with the transformation, as this is already clipped out thanks to those non-supportive legs. So we'll just go straight into it. The back legs become his lower legs. and the front legs become his arms and his hands. These flaps have a tendency to pop out, so I kind of left them open for the purpose of the transformation. They can be fully closed like that. Once that's done, you have to shorten the length of the dragon itself. He's got a flap here that pulls forward like that, and it's sort of telescopic like Cyclonus' nose cone. This flips back, and then this flips in on itself, and that creates this kind of front, whatever the hell that is. The neck of the dragon then slots down into this, and then on top you've got Scourge's head. Those little bits come out to support him. And there's Scourge. There we go. As I said, the legs aren't the Mae West. They're not great at supporting the upper body. The upper body's quite bulky, so I would have expected them to use a tighter ratchet joint on the feet, or the legs to support them. The wings, I leave them out. I haven't seen him in the cartoon, so I'm not really sure what it's like. But he looks good. He looks imposing. He's quite broad. Here's his weapon. This folds down, as I said, and it becomes an axe. You could kind of tell it was going to become an axe. It's not great. It just slots there, and it looks like a giant hammer of doom or something. It also puts him off balance. You can change it round so it's doing stuff like that, but it's not great. And then obviously he's got a chip here, or a key. You slot the key in, brings those forward, you lose the key, and this slots down, and those heads stay over there. What you're getting is a toy that you just stand upright and pop a few bits out. The detailing and the colour scheme is the exact same. The sound chips are good in the respect that he makes the transformation noise. Dinosaur noise is made from pressing a button again. The arms aren't great. They turn there, and then they turn out, but they don't turn that way. They have to go fully out to have his hand up like that. You know, even if these had been on a swivel or something, just so that you could have the hands facing forward, you could put a blaster in there or something. Posability, it's not great. He just, because of the weak legs that don't support him, he does a lot of falling over. But he looks pretty cool. Excuse me. He looks pretty cool when he's stood up there with the Universe toys. He's a nice stand-in for Predaking. And I was doing him, when I had the Classics line, the first time around I was putting him up there with Megatron to be Predaking, and then lo and behold, Hasbro repainted him, slapped him in a box and re-released him as Predaking, or Predacon Bruticus. So, you know, it's one of those ones that's so bloody obvious, you know, everyone should be doing it. But he's a pretty cool toy. He looks better than he moves. That's what I was getting him for, was the look. His face mold is fantastic. He's got a kind of a really dark, rich purple and green eyes, and he just looks so imposing. But he is completely flawed, and it's a shame, because with a couple of extra joints he could have been perfect. That being said, I'd give him a 2 out of 5. Wouldn't recommend him unless you really like the look of him. And that's it.